Okay, so first off, what's new this week with regards to COVID? The first is with regards to home isolation. The CDC is recommending that if you were 7 days from your first symptom and you are currently 72 hours or 3 days without a symptom, then it's probably safe for you to leave your home at this point. They're also saying that can be replaced by having had 2 tests, one after the other, at least 24 hours apart, showing that you are now currently COVID-free. So for those of you out there experiencing symptoms, feeling sick, if you're better now and you've been better for at least 3 days and it's been at least a week since your first symptom, it's probably okay for you to go outside, but I would still use drop-up precautions, wear a mask and that sort of thing. And this is all coming from the CDC. Another finding came from the Otolaryngology Society. They basically said that the presence of anosmia or dysgeusia, the loss of the sense of smell or taste, is now being found in a lot of cases of COVID, at least those that are presenting in the hospital. So it may be added to the list of the formal screening guidelines for patients with COVID. Another important addition to this discussion is the use of hydrochloroquine and or azithromycin. Studies are showing now that there's not necessarily great data for it, but the FDA has cleared the use for emergency exemption of hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine for the treatment of the disease, something that I spoke about earlier about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. Other quick kind of tidbits of information: the convalescent serum has been approved for treatment. So they're taking people who've gotten better from COVID and isolating antibodies from their blood and using that to treat patients that are critically ill or in critical condition in the hospital. Other important findings: number one, there's some new recommendations from the New England Journal on the utilization of equipment, protective equipment. They're also saying we shouldn't be necessarily treating patients with COVID different than other patients in the hospital. I mean, we should be having more universal precautions. Finally, there's a nice new study that showed that, or studies that are showing that cardiovascular involvement may be an important marker of extreme disease. Those that have myocardial injury or have elevation of their myocardial enzymes with the virus may be at a much higher risk for death or for poor outcome in the ICU. So those are kind of the new findings from the past week in COVID.